Hello everyone and welcome to today's video where I will be sharing my settings for the Crew 2 for the Logitech G29 steering wheel with gear shift and pedals. Now these settings are applicable whether you're just like cruising around the map or even when driving with a motorcycle. Even though it might feel a bit weird, this still gives you a bit more preciseness compared to the controller, and the bikes are a nice addition, so use that. Or you can actually use the settings for racing because you want that bucks in your pocket, so you need to win on the first place. First, if you're on PC, you have to head over to your Logitech gaming software, click on your steering wheel, double click on steering wheel again, and then sensitivity, make sure it's in the middle to 50%, wheel operating range 900 degrees, this gives you the full lock of the wheel. Enable centering sprint in force feedback games, this one I prefer to keep it disabled. It's actually quite glitchy and it doesn't work all the time. So cruise settings, we go over in options, we go to wheel controls, and then we have force feedback in the middle, gearbox, we keep it with 8 shifter, manual clutch, you can do without manual clutch. Wheel range, we keep it to 900 degrees. So as you can just see, we can rotate the wheel all the way to the left and right without any limitation. It gives us all the factory wheel angle available. So for this we keep it at custom. Dead zone and highest we keep minimum and maximum for that because we want to use the full range of the wheel. For linearity, on the other hand, what you can do is keep it at around 70%, I would say. And actually the way to measure this, you can go all the way to the right and then kick 5 times to the left. This gives you the 70% I was talking about. Then for the throttle, we keep a custom preset as well. We keep linearity in the middle, dead zone minimum, highest to the maximum. So this will give you the full range of the pedal because you want to be accurate on this. Then we have brakes, again custom settings, linearity in the middle, dead zone minimum, highest to the maximum. Sometimes you have to push hard, but this is a realistic feel again. Then for the clutch, we keep a custom preset. Linearity all the way to the minimum, dead zone to the minimum, and highest to the middle. This will actually give you a much more realistic feel of the clutch. If you've driven in a real car, you will know actually what I mean with that. So yes, these settings will give you a nice feel whenever you're just cruising around in this game because the map is quite huge and basically you can sometimes just relax, drive around, just go in a country road or in a city or just on a highway, and you can literally just drive around doing nothing. But this sometimes is so enjoyable because the game is quite nice in terms of graphics, and it gives you a nice perspective of the USA as well. Now the game in terms of physics is not the best, but still using these settings you can actually cruise around without any issues, or it's actually quite easy to just drive and the car doesn't feel bad. It's just that as you accelerate or go faster, you might have some issues with the preciseness of the wheel, but still in this case when you're just cruising around, it's just perfect. So when it comes to racing, there is actually a change, and it's not something really difficult to do whenever you have to do races or just cruise around. But you will want to change this because you want a much quicker response from the car. So this gives us the racing settings. So you go back to the options, wheel controls, and this time we keep exactly the same settings as for the cruising, but we use the wheel range to 510 degrees. So as you can see, this gives us a locked range of wheel rotation, which actually makes the car feel much responsive. So in terms of cruising, this is how the car feels whenever you're turning quickly the wheel to the left and right. Basically there's not very much response, so you can actually do mistakes to say like that. But with 510 degrees, the car responses much quicker, which will help you actually take even long curves like this one quite precise, so you don't have to worry about am I taking the right angle or not. And then the most important thing basically in racing is whether you're having even tight turns like this is to make sure you're taking that tight corner, so, or the apex, how it's called, so to keep the racing line to give you the best times whenever possible. So even if you have a lot of curves or straight roads, with 510 degrees it will be a bit more easier actually to control the car more quickly to give you that first place that you deserve. So in terms of the other settings, basically we keep exactly the same thing, only this time again we'll have less rotation from the wheel, but then for the throttle it's exactly the same thing. It will respond exactly the same, as there is actually no change. So for the brake, same story, and for the clutch exactly the same. So now we can actually move forward to tips and tricks. So as you can see right now I'm actually driving and I'm changing gears with my paddle shifts, and guess what? I haven't changed any settings, so the game itself can automatically detect whether you're driving with the gear shift or with the paddle shift. That means whenever you're using the paddle shift, the clutch is automatically bypassed, so you don't have to press the clutch. This is sometimes useful in races where you have to drive like really fast and change gears quickly, or in cars where just 6 gears isn't just enough, so basically you're just changing to the 7th, 8th or 9th gear. You will have to use basically the paddle shift. When it comes to the motorcycles, you can do exactly the same thing. Most of them, they have a maximum of 6 speeds, so you don't have to use the paddle shifts in order to reach the maximum gear. But it's much more useful whenever you want to change gears quickly to use the paddle shifts. So you can do that in the motorcycles as well. Just as you can see, I'm changing the gears even with the paddle shift and with the gear shift as well. Now, as I said at the beginning of the video, driving the motorcycles with a steering wheel kind of feels a bit awkward, but there's no problem because this gives you much more control over the steering angle. So that means you can go through traffic much more easier. You'll be much less stressed about whether you'll be hitting someone or something. So that feels just perfect. In the same time, what I like sometimes to do is just put the motorbike in manual mode with the gear shift and clutch and just rev it. Just to let these a-holes, sometimes they are doing something wrong, but it's something nice to do and you should do it as well. So this concludes today's video. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much as well for all the comments that you have been requesting this video, and this actually motivated me to make it. So feel free to request any settings you'd like to see, even if it's for the Crew 2 or Forza or anything else that I'm driving, and you might see it on my channel. Stick around and you will see new videos coming. Again, thank you a lot for watching. Don't forget to drop a like, because that will actually make me think that you are here and you support my work. So thank you a lot once again, and see you on the next one.